out how to tell their parents.
That's not
It's that bad.
No, it's not.
And that's soft.
It's different, and people are bitter because the band decided to grow a little bit. But anyways, that's neither here.
They grew into 13-year-old girls?
So you're saying that an obscure band that you still like more than anybody else because they decided to change. So you like them before other people and still after other people.
Bring Me the Horizon is not obscure at all. They're actually one of the largest new metal bands out there. But
if you have to describe it as new,
as in the style.
In you. If you have to describe it as new metal, that's obscure.
It wasn't that before.
No. They're the number one album. The last album just came out. The first, the last few.
The
albums.
number one new metal album, which is like nothing.
No, it was the number one overall in the Billboards. Actually,
that's like number one modern classical.
Oh my God! Well, trust me, as someone who keeps track with numbers, loves to keep track of Billboard and also,
how many different charts do they have on Billboard?
Well, no, the top number one, top 200. Move your phone.
What?
Move the phone.
Oh, I can't even hear it. Oh, my headphones also.
There's a reason. There's a reason you can't hear it.
I'm coming to life, fellas, slowly but surely.
Anyways, no, they're the number one overall.
Speaking of number one songs, 13 weeks in a row, right? Fourth different remix release in the last.
Didn't Lil Wayne have an official remix now, I think?
I think he's involved. But the other thing is like...
What are we talking about?
Old Town Road.
He got how many remixes?
At least 4 known, official.
It's never going to die.
Oh, no, it's not.
And Lil Wayne just did a new one.
Oh, well, he has time after walking out on Blink-182 mid-show.
Has Trent Reznor made more money from any other song than this one?
Probably not.
That's how weird music is.
Yeah, he's getting.
How is he involved?
He wrote the riff is a Nine Inch Nails riff, so he's credited as the songwriter on this.
Yeah,
it's the whole song.
Yes,
and that song, it's his first number one overall song ever. And
nobody knows.
In the 30 years that Nine Inch Nails has been around, 30 plus years Nine Inch Nails has been around, Trent Reznor's been around, this is the first song he's ever had get number one.
Just imagine every party he throws where he has to explain the Old Town Road plaque on his wall because people are just so confused.
Well, they're look at that. It's like, and of course, similar to John, there will be the music condescension people. It's like, what is that? And it's like, you're standing in the fucking house that song paid for. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that song's absolutely catchy. I don't care what people say.
I agree.
It's great in the Rambo trailer.
It made that trailer.
I'm going to see the movie because of it.
I didn't mind that song. I don't mind that song because I don't listen to pop radio or anything like that, so I don't ever hear that song on a regular. I only hear it once or twice a week.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sorry. Do you, when you said pop radio, does that mean that you actually listen to the radio otherwise?
No, I don't listen to the radio anymore. I used to, and the thing is, what I did used to listen to radio before I got Spotify and or satellite radio. I listened to 610 Sports Radio. And developed a strong.
That would explain the origin of the wanting the sports podcast.
Yeah, not just that, but also explain how much I hate
anyone
610.
can do this.
How much I hate 610 Sports Radio. So I despise them. Those people have some of the worst takes on it.
If I was an inch taller, that could be the name of the podcast. Damn it! I'm gonna wear some lifts next week.
Are we
just wear your Timberlands?
I have a pair from Boone, dude. The snow was serious up there. You needed them.
So wait, are we talking sports or pop?
We're talking Timberlands.
We're talking pop.
We're gonna talk pop first. Okay. Well, welcome to Simon Says Pop. Yeah, my voice isn't quite there today.
Oh, we're all there.
I didn't drink. I didn't drink last night at all.
You sound like you made out with someone that went to Godsmack. Secondhand Godsmacking.
That or you face fuck some pollen.
Yeah, well, I was up till 6 a.m. dealing with someone else, kind of a little bit.
But we're still on time. Let's give John the applause. We can't hate on him all the time for it, and then not support it when he does it.
Good job, positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
Find me coffee on Postmates.
Oh, it's not that big a deal. All you did was do what you were supposed to do.
That's not what I was even talking about. I need coffee.
It's very much like, I take care of my kids. You're supposed to.
You're supposed to do that. It's going to be hard for me to find a place that satisfies my food needs and your caffeine needs. I can get some drugs delivered. Can we do that instead?
No.
Damn it.
Damn it. Anyways, today we're going to discuss, I think, the upcoming San Diego Comic-Con.
Which is this weekend. The 50th anniversary is this weekend.
It's a big deal. Also, a new movie just got announced in the MCU slate, which I'm pretty excited about. Some people are actually not, though. It's kind of weird. I don't know why. Anyone would be like a little annoyed with the fact that they're bringing that back.
iced or regular?
Ice.
Well, I think some part of that is that there's the delay with Akira, is because Taika Waititi was announced as coming back for Thor 4 as the writer and director, and then then Warner Brothers immediately announced that they were delaying Akira. So
indefinitely.
They announced it was a delay, so many people thought it was a this or that thing, and so because people are stupid and hateful and don't want nice things for extended periods of time, we're like, I want the other thing. And it's like, first off, as soon as it comes out and it's not the animated movie, you'll shit all over it. So fuck yourself.
Right. No, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to see the finished product, and they're like, why they even make that? And they're just going to bitch anyway. So
but then as more
they want something new to bitch about. That's the thing.
But as Warner Brothers got announced that it was delayed indefinitely, more information has come out that the previous time it was a go, as I air quote that, around 2012, it was delayed because of budgetary concerns, which appears to also have been somewhat of an issue this time, along with script issues, which is the hiding the other thing. Which means it takes place in, 2019 Tokyo? It takes place now. Mm-hmm. Actually, like a day or two ago was, I think, the actual 30th anniversary of when it
would have been perfect.
But the thing is like, Tokyo is a very particular looking city, and they were doing a future version from what they thought it was in the 80s to now.
And it looks just
it looks probably exactly the same.
It looks actually probably a little bit more technologically advanced now, just minus the vehicles. But even that,
But with that, it's like you can't fake what Tokyo looks like because you know what that looks like, and you have to be ahead of that. And so that costs money. And it appears that Warner Brothers doesn't seem to want to spend that money.
Well, after Blade Runner 2049, that didn't exactly wipe up the box office. So
regardless of how well made that was and how beautiful that movie is, why did anybody think that movie would make money? The first one
didn't make
is
money.
Universally known as a non-money maker.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the Dune remake they're doing? You think that's going to make money that many years later?
No,
but it'll look amazing.
It's going to look.
Denis Villeneuve. It's him as well.
Dune's going to look incredible with Denis Villeneuve.
Yes.
He makes beautiful movies, but they're not exactly huge money makers. Arrival did relatively well.
But Arrival was on a much less budget, and Sicario was well.
Sicario did relatively well.
Sicario was fantastic. I still haven't seen the second one.
The second one's actually really good.
I liked it.
I liked it.
I had not seen the first one.
It's not as well shot, obviously, but it's good. It's not bad. I mean, it's not. It's not as good as the first one. The first one is one of my. The first one was one of my favorite crime movies of the last.
Well, it was a different writer as well, wasn't
it?
Was it? Was it the writer of the first Sicario also behind Wind River? I think that it might have been.
Yeah, I think so.
And Wind River is he directed that movie, and that Wind River is fantastic.
Yeah, but you have no Villeneuve, nor do you have or do you have Deakins, and I thought Deakins probably should have won for best cinematographer for that movie, but he didn't. I think that was the year The Revenant came out, but that's neither.
So the cinematography Oscar went to a movie that was an 85% CGI.
Yeah.
Just like Gravity, like the year before when that happened.
Well, it's the same, and actually it's the same.
Same cinematographer.
Same cinematographer. What's his name? Oh man, I can only pull these names out of my head right now. But today's not that day.
That's just funny though. It's like, oh yeah, it's the best cinematography. Wasn't 75% of what you saw through the camera not in the camera?
Way to leave space for what's not there.
Yeah.
Here's your trophy.
Oh, here's for the imagination of what you think it's going to be. You shot that green screen so well, nobody saw it. But I think that the Dune one, which is, I haven't read the book. I'm familiar with all of the detail that the book gets into.
Oh, Emmanuel Lubezki, by the way.
And it's supposed to be. Well, I think there was a miniseries on Sci-Fi I say a few years ago. It was probably a decade ago. It was about 6 hours, and that covered most of the stuff. So any movie would have to be close to 3 hours long, which Villeneuve is not opposed to doing. I mean,
not at all.
Arrival was well over 2, and Blade Runner 2049 was right at that edge of that. But it's not that so much of the strife in that movie is internal, and so much of that stuff is going on underneath, which he'll be great at doing that. But it's not a movie it's like a 3 hour long drama by an auteur. It doesn't get hundreds of millions of dollars of people to show up.
No.
Especially if it's in the summer and coming out in a couple of weeks.
No. But no, I personally loved Blade.
I'm excited to see it. I think that it'll be a fantastic movie. I don't think that people are going to show up because there's not the big action scenes or things like that.
What, Dune?
There could be with the worms and the things like that. But
No. That's not going to be a moneymaker at all. Was the one from the 80s a moneymaker?
No.
It was historically a big kind of flop.
Well, I mean, it was David Lynch's one giant big studio movie, and he disliked it so much that one of the versions is actually directed by Alan Smithee, the notorious name that's given to movies that the director doesn't want to take credit for because of studio interference or other reasons. And that's the largest of the Alan Smithee movies.
They don't have... They didn't have the tech back then to make that movie, but
well, I mean, for the most part, the only thing that was weird was the individual armor suits. That was a clunky looking effect.
I've only seen bits and pieces of that movie. I've never been able to sit through and watch the entire thing.
It has, much like this movie, a fantastic cast for the time.
Oh yeah, but speaking of 30th anniversaries,
I'm not gonna see it forever. It has too much sand.
Oh yeah,
I don't like movies with sand. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Go on, Anakin.
Because it gets everywhere. You fucked it up.
I know.
Don't be so obvious.
I was gonna call him out on it.
Everybody knows it. They're just wondering how we're gonna get there.
I'm not retarded. I did it on purpose. But it's actually true. It took me 3 years to watch Mad Max because the opening scene, I'm just like, oh, it's everywhere.
3 years to watch Mad Max.
Yeah.
Remember,
there's not a single road in the movie. Why is it called Fury Road?
There are roads.
There are not roads. It's all sand. It's
all
kind
sand.
of like beaten down.
But it's been beaten down, and there are technically roads.
No, it's not.
Okay, anyways. That movie...
There are
sandy
pathways.
Roads. Yeah.
Listen, there are no plot holes in that movie because there's no plot. It's just beautiful.
No plot holes, no potholes, none of it. All sand.
It's just...
The day for night shooting that they did was quite exceptional.
Well, yeah, because it was shot in day for night. Yeah, I just caught. I caught that. I caught that. I caught myself. Okay, I'm like, wait.
And for those of you at home to know how to tell the difference between something that is shot at night or something that's shot in the daylight, and they make it look like it's night. If you can see anything beyond 15 feet of that main character, it was shot during the daytime, and they made it look nighttime.
I gotta rewatch that movie. I bought that movie. It's one of the few Blu-ray 4Ks I bought. It's amazing.
That'd be terrible. You can see every grain of sand.
One of the things that's impressive about it is that it not once has ever gotten a complaint for the way that it's edited and cut, and it's not because of anything in the way that they choose the length of the scenes, because it has, I think in one 30-second scene, there's almost like 40, 45, or 50 cuts within it. It's just that everything is center cut, so you don't have to move your eyes. Whatever you're supposed to look at is the thing that's dead center of the screen. So even though that they're cutting through 12 different shots within like a 10-second period, you don't have to move your eyes to try and figure out what's going on, and they're trying to show it to you. So
that's what the climax chase when Charlize Theron's
any
character
of
gets
those
stabbed,
chases, well, even before when the first of the wives gets killed / run over, crushed, or whatever, the lead up into that as well. But that's the thing. It's like, oh, it's cut too quick, and it's like, no, that's not the reason that you're bothered by it. It's because the where you're supposed to be looking wasn't clearly told to you, so that you got distracted by it. That's what was bad editing out. Not that it was so many quick cuts, because you can do the quick cuts if you center cut, if you know what you're doing in the way that you do it.
That's still, I mean, that's still probably my top 3 favorite action movies of the last 20 years. So
I liked it. It was fine.
The best sand-based film of all time. Besides A New Hope.
Yeah, okay. Are you excluding?
I forgot. Yeah. Because it doesn't end in the sand. That's why that one's better. Yeah. They leave. They're like, this is terrible. Take me to the void of space.
Finn is your favorite character. Why does everybody want to go back?
Yeah.
Well, actually, hold on. Time out. Because, no, they can't leave the sand in Mad Max because everything's been basically wiped out.
Well, no, they don't. We don't know that. We only know in that area.
Yeah, because they've never been beyond the sand and the salts,
and they don't have communication beyond that area.
They don't have.
There are also no roads to take them there in Fury Road. Should have at least been one road in the movie. Just one road. A road to nowhere.
Anyways, God damn it. God damn it. Okay.
But leading into San Diego Comic-Con with the Thor 4 announcement, there are the other expectations leading in with Marvel's having a panel for the first time in 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And I think the year before Infinity War. So that would have been 2017. The summer of 2017 was the last time before. So they were only gone a year. It just feels so much longer because they had avoided having information and things going on.
Yeah.
And with there's more casting that has been announced for Eternals for who's going to be in the movie, not what they're playing yet. So we expect a full cast announcement of that, a full cast announcement for Black Widow and who Rachel Weisz and David Harbour are playing, and also possibly some footage from that. And then with Thor 4, they'll probably get some characters announced for that, or like some cast members that are coming back for that. And we should get some information, more information about Winter Soldier and Falcon, or the Falcon Winter Soldier movie, TV show on Disney Plus.
Well, the Russo brothers just had a tweet. It was a very cryptic tweet. I think it had something to do with Community, but they also have a panel with at the Marvel panel. Well, they have an hour or whatever conversation with the Russos there, and then they're doing. Let's see,
because they're already announced for some future projects as well.
Yeah, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is getting a panel actually because they're celebrating their sixth season and
finishing their sixth season. They already got approved for season 7.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, last
show just keeps on ticking.
Last fall, it got approved for season 7.
I think that's one of the shows that gets better, for sure. Like season 1 was a little tough to get through.
But see, and what you find out later that they were hamstrung by the Hydra reveal. They could only do so much without figuring out that it's like, oh yeah,
they come out and make a show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and you're like, wait a second, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone.
At the end of season 5, doesn't Thanos kind of show up? Well, you don't see him, but
they allude to the Earth
The
being
blip?
destroyed.
The blip
at the end of season 5.
Yeah, but I think what? Okay, so it's going to be other than
Thor
4 being announced. We're also going to get probably Shang-Chi. We're going to
should get cast announcements for that.
They're saying probably Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2.
It's about time for
which Coogler is working on the script now. Right?
Captain Marvel 2. They're going to make announcements about the prequel for Black Widow, which is, I think they say it's going to be a prequel.
It's got to be, I hope.
It's I think it's between the most recent thing is between Civil War and Infinity War.
Yeah, and then we're also going to get what else was it? The Eternals.
Yes,
the entire cast of that's pretty much it's already been kind of leaked with a
couple of references. One of them is a pretty good rumor, which would be great, which would be Luke Evans as Hercules.
I like that.
Yeah.
See,
he's a good actor. No, I get why.
Josh can't get through his head that they can bulk these people up.
No, he can entirely gets through his head.
Nobody knows what steroids can do better than me.
No, he entirely gets that part.
He can put on 40 pounds in 90 days if he really wants to.
He just seems to bother you so much. Does he not tall enough for you?
No,
I think
he's tall enough. He's tall enough.
Yeah, Luke Evans is pretty tall.
I'm sorry. I think Hercules needs to be imposing. I mean, he's only the fucking brute of the group.
Well, the thing about
with the way that they're playing Hercules,
John would be fine with Vern fucking Troyer.
With the way that, as long as he's buff,
yeah.
It's the way
not even. He wants keto intermittent fasting Vern Troyer.
Isn't that the version of Vern Troyer now?
Isn't Vern Troyer dead?
Still be a good Hercules.
He is. He passed away last year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Vern Troyer passed. R.I.P. Mini-me.
Do you have to dig the grave 6 feet for smaller people?
Yeah, is it a proportional thing, or is it like a set number?
Do you think somebody shows up that day? Only 3 feet today.
Only 18 inches deep on this one.
Yeah.
No, my God, you guys are terrible.
Oh, the box doesn't have to be as long.
Oh God,
it just looks like a pit. like you're dropping them into a well.
But it looks like you're gonna have what? Angelina Jolie's gonna be in it.
Nice. Cersei, almost certainly she'll be.
You're gonna
Cersei.
have Rob Stark in it, who will forever be known as Rob Stark to me.
Yeah, what's his name?
Richard Madden, who will be Icarus.
Richard Madden, Robert Stark.
Millie Bobby Brown's going to be in it.
She's in everything now.
She is in everything now. And then, as you said, Luke Evans will be playing possibly Hercules.
Which neither one of those things have been confirmed.
But
still mad he didn't get that Dracula sequel.
It's Tom Cruise's meddling on the Mummy redo, because it entirely changed the setup of that movie, and then it became a different thing.
That movie was great.
It was fine, but it changed what they were wanting to do with all of the stuff.
And then also we had what? We had the Emmys nominations come out yesterday.
Oh.
32 nominations.
32 nominations for that show that we spent the most time talking about so far.
Did you hear? Is that why you wore the shirt?
I've got a shirt of Daenerys with the scene with the dragon wings pop up behind her and says, "Let it be fear."
Which is her wishing I could fly out of this stupid fucking scene.
Well, the thing is there's the bulk of, well, not the bulk. There's 10 acting nominations. One for lead actor for Kit Harington, which is ridiculous because of all of the shows, of all the seasons, he did the least in this one than anything.
He had like 10 lines of dialogue.
And most of them were, "She's my queen."
I don't want it. She's my... He sounded like Ugandan Knuckles. McQueen.
And then Daenerys. But again, what happens typically in the last season of shows, there's the "thank you for all of your work" nominations.
Lena Headey got a nomination.
Who did nothing this
She
year.
literally stood there with a glass of wine and stared at a window the entire time.
And then for like 45 seconds,
and then
before she got crushed,
Melisandre,
she cried.
the chick that played Melisandre,
Carice Van Houten.
she got nominated for a special guest.
Well, and she was good in that one scene, in that one episode.
That was it. She did nothing.
But she did more to propel that episode
than anyone
than Lena Headey did in the entirety of her season, and Kit Harington and his, and a couple others.
Well, Maisie got one.
Maisie Williams and Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner got one,
which
and
I think is their first nominations.
Yeah,
each.
And then also what's her face?
The only one,
Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah, she got one.
She deserves one. And Braun, nothing for Braun here.
Nothing for Braun. Gwendolyn Christie should win for her
butt hurtness after Jamie left.
Oh well, no, the second episode. Yeah. The Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
That's the best episode.
That's the best episode of the season.
Whoa.
That was the best written and directed episode.
Tormund Giantsbane gets
no nomination.
Nothing. The guy carried the season.
It's funny because
Giant's milk.
Two weeks ago,
he became basically a punchline joke the entire.
He was the only
season.
fucking entertaining part.
He was consistent to his character, though. Two days ago on Time Hop, the Emmy nominations came out for 2017, and that also happened to be the same day or around the same time as the season premiere of season 7 for Game of Thrones. So they put the last episode of season 6, the episode 10, was it Winds of Winter coming on?
The one where she lights the churches up?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so at the end of that, though, Barb from Stranger Things was nominated for a guest appearance Emmy Award from season 1 of Stranger Things. And I'm sitting there as I'm watching Bella Ramsey as Lyanna Mormont telling all these old doofuses in the North is like, shut the fuck up. That's our king. Get behind him. Because I was there and you guys were too chicken shit to show up for the Battle of the Bastards. And it's like, Barb gets the Emmy nomination. Bella Ramsey had this one scene is better than anything else. No nomination.
I like how she can't watch the show, but she's in it.
Yes.
Her parents don't let her watch
you can't see this.
The fucking show. It's too brutal. Like, Mom, I literally die in one of the fucking episodes.
I'm the one who did the brutal.
Yeah. I stabbed the giant in the eye.
And then Lena Headey, Carice Van Houten, Emilia Clarke. So there were 10 acting nominations. And then on the men's side, Peter Dinklage, who probably is going to win again.
He's definitely going to win. He was the only consistent actor in the entire
season. But he had just terrible things to say.
Yeah,
that was the worst part.
They wrote him and dumbed him down.
And he knew it, too.
He looked annoyed saying everything.
He looked so annoyed the entire time. Like, dude, that's why when you see all those interviews leading up to the season, he's just like... Ugh.
Well, you see the one scene, and it's like, so they put them in the crypt where they can raise the dead dead people, and nobody thought of this.
So let's see. Drama series is Better Call Saul, Bodyguard on Netflix, which I hear is really good.
Rob Stark.
The first 20 minutes of the very first episode are ridiculously intense and compelling. No, just the first 20 minute scene. And because what's it on?
You don't watch Netflix. Game of Thrones, Killing Eve, Ozark, the last season, which I did not finish.
I didn't either. It wasn't as good as the first.
I don't like his character on that show.
It's the difficulty with this is
he was nominated too.
He was great in season 1.
Friday Night Lights.
It's Breaking Bad with money laundering.
Friday Night Lights.
No, it's
Mad
not even
Men.
Breaking Bad. Because Breaking Bad earns you following his character turning into a bad character. He's just immediately bad, and you're just like, okay, he's kind of a shithead. Everyone in that show is fucking terrible.
They're in Arkansas, right?
Yeah, everyone. Oh, good point. Posse on FX, which I've never heard of or even seen.
P-O-S-E.
Oh, no.
Pose.
I read it wrong. I apologize. Succession.
Are you familiar with what Pose is?
Yes. Succession on HBO, which I fucking love.
That's one of the thanks for being nominated.
Well, it got season 2.
Well, no, but I'm saying is like all of Succession's work during the entire time it will air on television. Its wins will only ever be nominations.
Yeah,
it will never be popular.
It'll be like
enough
Mad Men.
Well, Mad Men won the first 4 nominations and won Best Drama first 4 years it was
Yeah, but
on.
John Hamm never won.
He won in the last year. You
won-
kept jumping ahead.
Yeah.
The last year show was on. They give the thank you for everything else.
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights. Coach Taylor won for Best Actor, winning that. Andre Braugher for his last year on Homicide: Life in the Street. He won the Emmy Award. So that's where this is the opportunity for some of the people in Game of Thrones to get the. It's like, yeah, we know it sucked this year, but because of all
Whatever.
the good work leading into it. So Lena Headey's got a good chance in supporting actress.
Yeah, and then you also have. Well, I mean, so that's what it kind of gives me hope.
Heating.
I think that gives me hope that Endgame's going to be at least nominated for. I mean, just the overall process of 22 films.
$7 million away from the record, right?
Yep, it's probably going to pass it maybe this week or next week. They're hoping it passes it. Actually, I'm pretty sure, and I have it in my head that Kevin Feige and those guys are buying out theaters. So on Saturday during their Hall H panel, they're having a party for that movie anyways at San Diego Comic-Con.
What is $7 million to them?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, out of nowhere, that movie's managed to make $8 million in the last 2 weeks, which is it wasn't doing the previous.
People really want to see that
Month?
not finished Hulk.
What happened? What happened last week? Far From Home had
Far
come
From Home.
out.
There was
So,
a-
so
there was
there's
a
a
bump.
reason for
2
there to
weeks,
be a
right?
bump.
There was a minor
There's
bump.
a reason
but
for there to be
it
a bump.
wasn't anywhere close to being like the Captain Marvel bump. That Captain Marvel got back into the top 5 when that came out.
The same thing with Black Panther when Infinity
Yeah.
War came out too.
So Succession, and then This Is Us, another show I've never seen. Personally, of those shows listed, Better Call Saul and Succession are my favorites. But
well, I think it's Game of Thrones to
it's
lose.
going to Game of Thrones.
The only one that might have a chance is Better Call Saul, but it's one of the ones that it might actually, over the course of its lifetime, equal the spinoff that it was from, if not possibly. Some critics have said it's better.
It's going to be better, I think,
And
overall.
because of where it's ending, so you know the crash that guy's going to run into.
Yeah, it's a great crash. And then let's go run through these nominations actually real quick. Best comedy series: Barry, Fleabag on Amazon Prime, which I've never heard of.
Yeah,
The Good Place,
Waller
I love.
Bridge, who played
Good
the,
Place and Barry are both fantastic.
Waller Bridge, who played the
Ted Danson's so good.
robot in Solo.
Oh,
She's,
really?
Yeah, she's the one behind that.
This is Veep still lose because it's their
Waller
final
Bridge is
season.
also the. I'm not sure if it's co-created, but she's one of the writers on Eve as well.
Okay. The Marvelous Miss Maisel, Russian Dolls on Netflix, Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek. Sorry, Eugene Levy.
Apparently it's good.
Yeah, he got nominated.
And then Veep. That's gonna be Veep's to lose. It's their final season, shortened season, and they knocked it out of the park on series.
well,
finale.
I'm
Barry ends so hard though.
Well, I think Barry has a chance at the comedy trophy. Julie Louis-Dreyfus is winning the Emmy for her set for.
yeah,
Veep.
but
even though the best parts of Barry are not the comedy.
this final season, shortened season, it's been one of the more.
It's been one of the ones, but that's one that could get skipped. Julie Louis-Dreyfus winning individually will not. She's winning that award.
Yeah. So hold on a second. I was getting a phone call, but
When she won, I think 3 years ago, right the day after her father passed away.
Thanks. What was her acceptance speech? Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. And then like within a week or two later, she inherited like $2.5 billion.
and then limited
What
series
the fuck
is
does her father do?
Her great grandfather started a shipping and importing business in France, like at the turn of the last century.
limited
They were
series
loaded as
is
fuck.
So she
Chernobyl.
just acts for fun.
Yeah,
Limited series is Chernobyl, Escape.
Chernobyl's winning.
And
It doesn't matter anything
It
else
doesn't
is
really
said.
doesn't. Sharp Objects might have a shot.
In the actress categories, it does because I guess from Chernobyl.
Television movies: Black Mirror, Bandersnatch. Really?
I never even watched
Brexit.
That's good. There's a
King Lear, My Dinner with Herve, and Deadwood the
Hervé.
movie.
There's a
so
there's a
Darren
category there's a category for technical achievement or interactivity that Bandersnatch is nominated. That'll win that.
Probably lead actor in a drama is Jason Bateman for Ozark.
No,
It's too exhausting to have to pick
Sterling
stuff.
K. Brown, This Is Us.
he
Kit
won the last couple of
Harington.
years. No,
I think it's Bob Odenkirk's to lose
he has a good chance.
for Better Call Saul.
It's only a matter if they're done giving Sterling K. Brown all the awards, which
Bill-
typically they go 3 or 4 years until they get tired.
Billy Porter, and then Milo,
He's got a really good chance for Pose.
and then Milo Ventimiglia for This Is Us. Never watched it. Lead actress Amelia Clark, Jodie Corner,
That's for Killing Eve.
Killing Eve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
Viola-
got a good chance.
Viola Davis. I didn't realize
Viola
how
Davis.
to
I
do
forgot it was
Murder
still on.
Laura
for sure
Linney
it was
for
canceled.
Ozark, Mandy Moore for This Is Us, Sandra Oh for Killing Eve,
Possibly
and Robin
her.
Wright for House of Cards.
Nope.
No. Lead actor in a comedy series: Anthony Anderson for Blackish, Don Cheadle for Black Monday, Ted Danson for The Good Place. Yes.
Don Cheadle's in Black Monday.
Yeah. Michael Douglas for the Kaminsky Method, which I heard is a funny show. Bill
That
Hader.
Golden Globe nomination.
Bill Hader for Barry, and then Eugene Levy for Schitt's Creek.
It might be Levy. It might be Levy.
I think Ted Danson is wonderful in The Good Place. He's
hilarious.
fucking
But
perfect.
he's been on television for 37 years and get nominations about every third year.
Lead actress in a comedy series.
I'm
Christina,
not saying that's bad. It's just that it's like, hey, we know who you are.
Lead actress in a comedy series. You have Christina Applegate, Dead to Me. Rachel Brosnahan for The Marvelous Miss
She won
Maisel.
last year for Mrs. Mabel.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus for
She's
Veep.
winning.
Natasha Lyonne for Russian Doll, Catherine O'Hara for Schitt's Creek, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge for Fleabag.
Yeah, she's the writer-creator of Fleabag.
Limited series lead actor is Mahershala Ali for True Detective, Benicio del Toro for Escape at Dannemora, Hugh Grant for A Very English Scandal. Jared Harris, who's going to win.
He's going to win. Chernobyl.
Definitely, Jared Harris is going to win for Chernobyl. He's probably the best acting I've seen on a show, anything.
And talk about a guy who has been tremendous
In
and
everything he does.
still not quite necessarily outside the shadow of his father.
He's fucking perfect.
He is fantastic in everything. There was the show
Wait,
on FX.
Who's his dad?
Richard Harris.
That's his dad? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to yell, but Richard Harris is his dad?
Yes.
As
soon as you hear it, you see it. It looks like him.
Oh, I love Richard Harris.
He was one of the first things I saw. Jared Harris was in The Travelers, and he played like the head gypsy roaming guy that was like squeezing all Minnie Driver and Eddie Izzard and all of their family and everything. Then he was on Mad Men, and then he would pop up, and he was great as Moriarty.
Oh, he was fantastic as Moriarty.
And he was even in the first movie.
They're saying
in that one scene.
Yeah, in the very end. They're saying they're actually going to make a third one. And now that also Robert Downey's going back to serious acting. Sam Rockwell for Fosse Verdon.
Serious acting.
He can do whatever he wants.
Jarrell Jerome, When They See Us. And then lead actress limited series, Amy Adams, Sharp Objects, Patricia Arquette.
I'm sorry, what category was that for the When They See Us? Or is that the limited series?
That's limited lead actor.
Okay.
Lead actress, Amy Adams, Patricia Arquette, Juanes Elise for When They See Us, Joey King, The Act, Niecy Nash for When They See Us, and Michelle Williams for Fosse Verdon. Never heard of that.
Fosse Verdon. It's on FX. It's about Bob Fosse and Gwen Verdon.
I think that's the ones that actually matter at this point. Oh, never mind.
Well, no, that one's going to get a lot of attention. It's going to win the choreography and.
Well, no. What I'm talking about is I'm just no one cares about competition program or variety talk shows. No. Supporting actress in a drama series, we have Gwendolyn Christie for Game of Thrones, Julia Garner Ozark, Lena Headey for Game of Thrones, Fiona Shaw for Killing Eve, Sophie Turner, and Maisie Williams for Game of Thrones. 4 nominations
out of 6.
And I don't think any of them are deserving.
Gwendolyn Christie,
she's decent.
Well, she was really good in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. That was the payoff of her entire character's arc.
And well, yeah, she got knighted, and that was the best scene of arguably the entire season. That episode better win for I can give that.
There's only one Game of Thrones episode for writing,
and that's not it.
No, because the producers chose not to submit any show that they didn't write.
That's fucking stupid.
So the ones that they submitted was Iron Throne. So the Long Night and the Last of the Starks, directed by the two guys, the guy who does all the battles. I never remember the name. Sopanik. And the other guy who directs most of the movies, he did the Last of the Starks, which are episodes 3 and 4. Those 2 shows were nominated for directing and for there was some other category for that, and set design or something, and also the Iron Throne. But the only episodes that were submitted for writing was the Iron Throne. Those were not submitted for writing.
So then we have Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series, Alfie Allen, Game of Thrones. Alfie Allen for Game of Thrones.
He had one worthy scene, entirety of the entire to where you actually cared for.
Who's Alfie Allen?
That's it's Theon.
Oh, that's Theon?
Yeah.
He got nominated?
Yes. He was he with the song that his sister wrote about him. You thought that's exactly who he was through the first 4 seasons, and then he was just like whatever. And his character did have an interesting arc and everything, but the whole it's like you're a good man, Theon. That's not about Theon. That's about the people around him forgiving him. It's more about how the people react to his character than what his character.
I also feel like if the books ever come out, that's not going to be a story arc. Jonathan Banks from Better Call Saul.
Yeah, he'll probably survive because he's a character you're not going to like and you want him to die.
Yeah, Nikolai
Coster-Waldau.
Yeah, for Game of Thrones, who is Jamie. I can always butcher his name. Peter Dinklage, his the win. Even though Giancarlo Esposito for Better Call Saul, fantastic.
Because Better Call Saul had 2 or 3 nominations in this category.
Better Call Saul it's arguably one of the best shows on TV. Michael Kelly, House of Cards, and Chris Sullivan for This Is Us. Okay. Supporting actress comedy series, you have Alex Bornstein for Marvelous Miss Maisel. Apparently that show's lovely.
It is really. It's written by Padilla. I'm killing this, but it's the Gilmore Girls, the woman behind Gilmore Girls.
Anna Klumsky for a Veep. Sion Clifford for Fleabag. I've never heard of Fleabag.
Its second season just came out, and its first season apparently was critically well received, but not particularly popular. And I'm not sure if it was actually on Amazon for the first season.
Oh, really?
But
you got picked up by Amazon.
But that's where Phoebe Waller-Bridge got the solo role, was because Lord Millard heard of her through Fleabag, and then because of that momentum, that's where she was able to get Killing Eve and then the second season of Fleabag. It has a combination of all of the terrible things that she does as she's going through life, but then she also she breaks the fourth wall and will react to situations to the audience.
Is that the show about awkwardness and sex and a bunch of different things? I think I read about it.
I think most of the shows that are done by auteurs now are about that, but yes, that's what it's about.
Betty Gilpin for Glow. I love Glow. Sarah Goldberg for Barry, Maren Hinke for The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Betty Gilpin's name is the one that I can never remember. She was Dane Cook's wife from American Gods, and she was in a few episodes of Elementary as Sherlock's girlfriend for a while.
And then Kate McKinnon for Saturday Night Live.
Did she win last year? She might have won last year.
Supporting actor in a comedy series is Alan Arkin for The Kaminsky Method.
He may win.
Anthony Kerrigan, Barry. Tony Hale, Veep. Stephen Roop, Barry. Tony Shalhoub, the Marvel. Tony Shalhoub's in that?
Yeah.
Huh.
And
like Henry Winkler
he's the father.
Anthony Kerrigan should win that one. He's fantastic on that show.
It's interesting on that one. I think every single nominee is from a cable or streaming service.
Yep. Supporting actress in a limited series, movie. Patricia Arquette, The Act. Marsha Stephanie Blake, When They See Us. Patricia Clarkson, Sharp Objects. Vera Farmiga for When They See Us. Margaret Qualley for Fosse and Vernon. Emily Watson for Chernobyl. I think it's Emily Watson's to lose. I think Chernobyl's going to wipe. I think
Chernobyl's going to win all the big awards.
Yeah, definitely.
The guy pulled up and said, I tried to call you. They didn't have iced coffee. Sorry. He did not try to call me, though.
Supporting actor in a limited series or movie. Asante Black, When They See Us. Paul Dano, Escape at Dannemora. John Leguizamo. Is it? I have to see that. I love Paul Dano.
Well, he was with
I ordered a large Slurpee, by the way.
That was the straw is large, with Patricia Arquette and Benicio del Toro. So Prison Breakout.
John Leguizamo, When They See Us. Stellan Skarsgård for Chernobyl. He's going to win that one. He's fantastic in that one too. Ben Winshaw, A Very English Scandal, and Michael K. Williams, When They See Us. Best guest actress in a drama series. Laverne Cox for Orange is the New Black. How's he a guest? Was she not a part of that last season? Like the last season, the last season of Orange is the New Black.
No, I think it had left, or I'm not familiar with the series. If her character doesn't survive much of the last season, she's not a regular.
Yeah, Laverne Cox was a series regular, so I don't know what happened. I didn't watch that last season. I watched all
off after like season 2.
Cherry Jones for The Handmaid's Tale. Jessica Lange, American Horror Story Apocalypse. Felicia Rashad for This Is Us. Cicely Tyson.
You know who Felicia Rashad is, right? Cosby Show.
Oh.
Mrs. Huxtable.
If Anthony Mackie doesn't get nominated for Striking Vipers for anything, I'm boycotting.
He did it.
And
then Carice Van Houten.
Carice Van Houten.
Houten for
That's
Game of Thrones.
Millhouse's cousin.
Yes, it is.
Apparently, she and Seth Meyers went to college together, so they've known each other for decades.
She's hot. Guest actor.
She was in a Paul Verhoeven movie. It's a Dutch movie, but it's in English, called The Black Book, about the women that would sleep with the Nazis to get the information so they could sabotage them and kill them. And then her character, when the war is over, all the information, all the people that knew that she was actually spying for the Allies were killed, and how she had to work her way to survive after that. It was a fantastic movie. She was excellent in that.
All right, directing in the drama series. I'm going to do a skip to the special guest, whatever. Game of Thrones, The Iron Throne. Directed by who? Benioff and Weiss. But no, Game of Thrones, The Last of the Starks, David Nutter. Game of Thrones, The Long Night, Miguel Sapochnik.
Yes.
Killing Eve, Desperate Times, BBC America, Ozark, Reparations, Netflix, directed by Jason Bateman. Apparently he's a pretty good director, though.
I mean, he's been in the industry for 40-something years.
How...
he was on an episode of Little House on the Prairie. That's how far back he goes.
But how... what'd you get?
McAllister's.
What's this? Oh, why am I drawing a blank? Bill Hader not getting nominated for his episode. He's directed Barry. That is...
It'll take a while.
Kid?
It'll take a while.
Yeah. That should have been nominated.
Well, that's you're still in drama.
Oh, that's limited series drama.
Yeah,
Maybe he did direct
because he's in comedy.
Limited series.
That shows everything.
A Very English Scandal. Chernobyl. Chernobyl's going to win. There's nothing...
Who's the director for the Chernobyl episode?
Johan Renck. Okay. No reality program. Don't care. Directing a variety special. Don't care. Writing for a comedy series. Barry. Ronnie Lilly. Directed or written by Alec Berg and Bill Hader. That's gonna win. That Ronnie Lilly's the. That's the episode with the little girl and her father and the karate.
The Taekwondo guy.
That. If that doesn't win,
that's the fight scene. That's not about the fight scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then again,
as soon as that aired, there was about 30 articles that popped up about that episode.
And again, the last episode of Veep ever might win because
no, they don't give typically, and that show hasn't. I don't think won on the directing side. It's not seen as a directing show. It's seen as an acting show.
Yeah, but
so it's not. No, that's the
thank
yous and goodbyes are for the people that we're going to continue to show the appreciation to, Peter Dinklage and Julia Louis-Dreyfus, or we haven't ever shown you any acknowledgement of how good you are, Maisie Williams, Gwendolyn Christie, Sophie Turner nominations, and Emilia Clarke.
I can't believe those bastards didn't
And Kit
submit
Harington.
that second episode of Game of Thrones for writing.
They did not
I
submit.
can't believe that.
That
was the best written episode of
that
them
one
all.
was the Night of the Seven Kingdoms was not even submitted.
Them all dwelling about how they're going to die. That episode.
Yeah.
But the
one that's actually
the Long Night,
the most
like previous
seasons episode on the entire final season.
It didn't take a hard. I mean, it was decent till episode 4 is when it took the hard shit turn. 1, 2 wasn't bad. 3 was entertaining.
3 was entertaining if you could see what was going on.
Yeah, which I could. So.
Okay, writing for a drama series. Better Call Saul winner Peter Gould and Thomas Schatz. Bodyguard episode 1 Netflix.
That may get it. Again, that opening 20-minute scene
really that good?
is terrific.
I'll check it out. And then Game of David Benioff and D.B. Weiss giving themselves a nom for best writing.
Well,
they should literally.
It's not. The issue is not that they submitted themselves. That's fine. The issue is that they did not allow any other episode to be submitted. That's horseshit.
It is. It really is. Okay, let's skip over that. Writing a variety series. Don't give a shit.
They submitted the last episode, right?
Yeah, the
worst
Iron
one.
Yes.
God, you see these lists for like variety.
Yeah, the
special?
2, 3, and 4 are the best episodes of that season. None of those were allowed to be submitted because they were not the writers on those episodes.
Wow, those are by far the best episodes.
And again, Last of the Starks only falls off the edges when it gets to Bran, you tell him, and then we miss the scene where they explain it. And then when Tyrion is like, what? You have to tell me. And then we miss the scene where Sansa snitches on him to Tyrion. The two most important moments of that season, and we don't see them happen.
The one with the best story of them all. God damn it! I don't want to talk about it. It already it's making me angry just thinking about it.
Let it be fear.
Yeah. That's, God,
But the interesting thing, what would the other shows that were nominated on there? A lot of streaming services, Mrs. Maisel and the BBC America is starting to get a lot more recognition with Killing Eve and Bodyguard as well, and I think Bodyguard just got renewed.
Isn't Bodyguard a BBC show?
Yeah,
though?
it's a BBC show.
Well, so is Black Mirror. Okay, so that's that.
Yeah, BBC America is finally getting a lot more recognition over the last 3 or 4 years when they've been producing fantastic content. There was a show called Copper, which takes place in 1860s New York, and it's an Irish cop dealing with everything going around in New York City in the Civil War. And it's one of the darkest, most amazing shows I've ever seen in my life. He actually gets rid, as a cop, he gets rid of a criminal who has connections to the politicians by feeding them to a bunch of pigs so they eat all the evidence.
Nice.
And that's the same episode where he finds out that this 10-year-old girl that he's trying to help had manipulated an older guy to hit on her so she could set him up to be killed.
All righty. 10-year-old snatch bait. Cool.
Tessa Thompson is in that, and so is Essa Adebayo, who I believe that's his name, who is in several other movies since he was one of the guys fighting to the death at the beginning of Django when they go to meet the Candy estate.
I have not seen Django in a while. I got to rewatch that movie.
I saw that once when it came out. Most Tarantino movies, except for Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction I rewatch.
They're too negative for you, huh?
Well, it's not that. It's not. I don't mind the negativity on these. It's the Kill Bill. I'll watch both of the Kill Bills.
Yeah.
Is that it's just the and Kill Bill, it fits the ridiculous violence fits because of the story that's being told, but in the others it's just like there's no particular reason.
Inglourious Bastards.
Well, again, I haven't seen Inglourious Bastards.
You've never seen Inglourious Bastards?
What?
That was the moment where, like, after Kill Bill and everything, it's like he's telling the same kind of story. He's just changing the packaging. Here's the setup of whatever's going to happen. Everybody's going to die with gallons more blood than actually contains in the human body, as I reference the gallon of lemonade
The people didn't need to know that.
that appeared.
I personally love Quentin Tarantino movies, and
He's a fantastic writer, and he gives a great sense of place, and he's got a pacing that's terrifically unique. But as I'm watching the what was the last Ungrateful Eight, as I'm going through, and it's like, well, everybody's going to die, and there's going to be blood everywhere. It's just, I enjoy what he's intending to tell, but not all of the details that he uses to tell it.
Nobody makes you feel more uncomfortable with the use of the N-word than Quentin Tarantino.
Well, the thing is, it's like he.
The scene where they accidentally blow the guy's head off.
Well,
and they take him to his house.
Oh, and that was in 1994. Yeah. And that was still like, but it's really interesting though. Is like in real life, he still thinks that he can say that in real life the way that he writes it in his movies, which is really weird.
Because what, didn't Samuel L. Jackson or Spike Lee give him a pass?
Samuel L. Jackson, Spike Lee did not.
Yeah, Spike Lee wouldn't.
But Samuel L. Jackson, because he's known him for so long, and again, there's the knowing the person and the artifice around it. You get that, but it's like, dude, you're a 50-year-old affluent white guy. You can't just think that you're like everybody else.
You can say it to Samuel L. Jackson all you want, but that's about it.
And
because he gives you a pass.
And writing in the movie where they fit in the time frame, yeah, I get that. Which is probably why he's writing most of his movies as period pieces, because that's not the language that a lot of things would be able to work with if you wrote a modern day movie. And what Pulp Fiction was his last modern day movie, Kill Bill, I guess. But I mean, that was a alternate type of thing.
Yeah, Hateful Eight was old.
Inglourious
Bastards, Django,
upcoming Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's in the 60s. That comes out next
couple
week.
Weeks.
Next week actually comes out.
Next week?
Yep.
Can't wait.
Next week? Is it next week?
That's next
then
week.
Is that the same week as Lion King, or is Lion King this Friday?
Lion King's this Friday.
Okay.
If I don't get to watch Margot Robbie get murdered, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Is like when leading up to it, it's like, oh, this is a fantastic idea. He loves Hollywood. He'll get all the things. The actors get Leonardo DiCaprio. It's fantastic idea. But then once they sit and Margot Robbie is Sharon Tate, it's like, oh, she'd be great at this. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna tell the murder of Sharon Tate with the sensitivity of a sledgehammer to a watermelon. And that's the only thing that's hedging me about this movie, because everything leading up to him going overboard will be fantastically told.
Like the thing that just cracks me up is the lead is probably the most attractive man in Hollywood, and you get the second most attractive man in Hollywood to play a stunt double. I find that kind of fucking funny.
And again, the opening scene of of most of the trailers are it's like, yeah, so and that's my stunt man, and so it's like, oh, is that about the story? Did I carry his load? Yeah, that's about right.
The manslaughter line is my favorite. She goes, if I get in a fight, I kill you by accident, I go to jail. Anybody gets in a fight and kills somebody, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter.
Yeah, no, that movie's gonna. That movie is gonna I think it's going to
again, since we've established that I'm older, it's like you may forget this because it might have been right before your youth. That was one of the ongoing action TV show things. Oh, it's a boxer. If he kills somebody, it's manslaughter. Oh, it's like its hands are deadly weapons. It was like quicksand is going to be the death of you growing up. Like, oh, that's one of the things that's going to happen in life. And for him to deconstruct it, so you kill anybody with your hands, it's manslaughter.
I love how you bring up quicksand because I'm not going to lie to you. Growing up, I thought I was going to die by quicksand. I thought it would be a much bigger deal.
Like it was more prevalent. It was like everywhere.
I thought it was like literally everywhere. Like, oh no, quicksand.
I don't want to go in the woods. There's quicksand over there.
Yeah, like elementary school really prepared you for a bunch of shit that wasn't going to happen. Like there, like I expected people to be trying to offer me free drugs at every corner.
Well, see, that was one of the...
Like they aren't.
They're not free.
Well, okay.
I'm also looking for them. If I have to look for it, it's not available enough. Where'd Josh go? Down that alley.
Isn't that dangerous? He knows.
All right.
He's 6'9". I think he's got this.
I am the danger.
I'm not locked up in here with you. You're locked up in here with me. Oh man.
Rorschach.
Yeah, I love that. Anyways, so
great Zack Snyder movie.
It is. I mean,
it's not bad.
The
ending sucks, but other than that, it's not bad.
Well, he changes it from something that would be much more disbelievable for a modern day audience.
True.
I mean, that's one of the things when it's like, oh, in comic books you can do anything you want because you don't have a special effects budget, which is true. But when you adapt some of those things into a movie, there, no matter what the style of the movie is, there's still at least some level of credulity that you're like, that's a giant space squid. What? I don't believe that.
Yeah, but at the same time, the giant...
Is that what happens in the comics?
Yeah.
Please tell me.
Yeah.
It's a giant alien space squid.
That instead of a nuclear destruction, that's what comes in and destroys most of the city. So the world bands together against not a foreign country.
Who brings the space squid?
Oh, it's Manhattan. He plans all the things. He grows some weird thing, which is why his...
Oh, it wasn't Manhattan. It was...
Ozymandias.
Ozymandias
is the one who's been growing it in a lab and yada, yada, yada. And he uses...
Yes. He grew the space squid. Then he launched the space squid into space.
Well,
he teleports
it into New York City.
I would really love to see a giant space squid launch.
And so the world bands together
to defend against the space
aliens. So it brings the world instead of Russia and United States going into nuclear war with each other, they get together and make peace. Like, we're going to fight the aliens, as opposed to in a movie where they use basically Dr. Manhattan is the reason why the world bands together. So Dr. Manhattan has to leave and do.
Would you have preferred the space squid?
Yes.
Really?
It makes a little bit more sense.
I kind of think that the movie ending sounds better.
No, it does. And it works better. It works better as a movie. And especially because in both instances, Manhattan realized what was going on and said, that probably works. Okay, I'll just go. And with it, it's like, yeah, I'll take the heat because, again, you die the hero, you live long enough to become the villain. I was like, yeah, I go. Nothing's gonna bother me. I can do whatever I want.
Nothing does. He's a being of pure logic. Yeah,
and he's living every moment at the same time, all the time. So like, yeah, no, it works.
Well,
okay, I'm out.
The show on HBO seems to be a sequel series. So
yes, after it appears that Rorschach blew the story. Is that so? They publish,
but he didn't blow the story in the movie.
Well, no,
he does.
He sends the book.
Oh,
he sends the book.
So it appears that it is published.
The last scene of the movies, the newspaper opening up,
and the comic.
Yeah,
is the guy opening or receiving the mail with the information from Rorschach telling him about the fraud.
That shit was rough. Dr. Manhattan just went poofed him.
You don't expect that to happen, but
you kind of do. He's yelling, "Do it!"
Yeah, he's yelling, "Do it!" But it's like the way they did it is like, whoa, he just destroyed every single atom all at once. Poof,
just popped him like a balloon. But no, what I was gonna say. So Hall H coming up, Emmy nominations.
DC Warner Brothers not showing up.
No, they're not. But they made that announcement months ago.
But they have the Birds of Prey movie, they have the Wonder Woman movie, and they have
so it makes you kind
the
of
Joker
think
movie. And they're like, no, we're going to give you nothing.
They got a busy year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it also makes you think maybe they're going to be doing something else on their own, or maybe they.
Patty Jenkins she says that she's going to give some more information.
But at the same time, you have Marvel showing up for the first time in 3 years.
Actually, only 2 because I said 2.
How long was Wonder Woman delayed again? What was the original release date? Like
this year? Yes,
right?
like it would have happened already. Yes,
summer blockbuster. Yeah.
And then I think currently it's November. I think is what it is later this year.
That's weird. Joker's October.
then it might have gotten pushed all the way to like next spring.
That would suck balls.
But it got delayed a period of time. And also the other thing is Steve Trevor's in it, and this may or may not be a reboot or a soft reboot, or it may or may not be related to anything that we saw before, because of some of the things that we saw in the Justice League movie and the Batman and Superman don't add up with what was happening in the Wonder Woman movie.
So it might get retconned.
Well, and the thing is, DC is completely avoiding the topic of it because they want to see how it's received, and if it's like people are like, "Oh, I love it," then it's like, "Yeah, it's a soft restart." It's like, no, it's like, "Oh, I don't know."
They're gonna make it so
June. So yeah, so
almost 11 months.
Yeah,
fuck.
So they're gonna make it that Steve Trevor jumps out of the plane. If they do it, they're gonna be, oh, he jumped out and they had a parachute. Found a last second parachute
because she totally wouldn't have seen that or looked for him.
Well, when she saw it explode, she was like, "No," and cried, and that was it. Then she had to go fight.
She still has super senses.
They didn't establish that in the movie.
Well, the other thing is like it would have been.
She didn't have her Peter tingle,
and so Steve Trevor, who would have parachuted out, wouldn't have tried finding her, or the friends who they all saw each other after the war.
Maybe
Isn't this 40 years later? It's
This would be 70 years later because it was the end. It was World War One.
It was World War One. So that's 1914
to 1918.
1918, yeah.
And he looks
the U.S.
the same.
joined in 1916. Yes.
So Chris, I mean, what's our explanation?
See, it's like maybe it could be the grandson that we don't know of, which I don't think is the deal.
Or maybe the Germans found him and froze him.
Oh Lord, could you imagine?
Winter Soldier.
Could you imagine if Wonder Woman was just, she was immortal, so she just kept like waiting for the next kid to grow up and kept boning him, but it wasn't her kid.
Like
swoop in
every relative,
every generation, she's banging a Trevor.
It's like, okay, you go get married, have a kid. Now we're gonna have an affair. As long as there's the next one coming on behind.
Keep lining them up. It's like,
well, I mean, that was the story in the Wonder Woman TV series, because the first couple of years were in World War II with Lyle Wagner playing Steve Trevor, and then they went to modern times, which at the time was the 70s, and then it was the son, which they could do that because it's like 30 years apart.
She was porking the father and son.
Well,
in the TV
they
series.
weren't. They don't never. I don't think there was ever any. There was definitely, obviously, the nature of the show. There was no consummation, but there was all the flirty with the dad one, and then later was when they came into modern times, the same character played by the same actor, but it was his son, Steve Trevor Jr. I think. And I know, hey, it's 70s, high end writing on television.
Yeah.
And so she was playing. It was the same. That was the interest for that.
Just imagine, like, by the time we get to Wonder Woman 6, it's like, well, this Steve Trevor only had girls.
Well, that's the
Wonder
thing.
Woman's gay for 30 years.
Well, I mean. She commented on that on the book on the boat ride to London in the first movie.
So now with that, let's talk about the box office. Spider-Man crushed it, exceeded.
That's at 850.
Yeah, it's at 850 million already.
On its way to $1 billion.
It only dropped 51%, which is
well
really
above
good
average
compared to it's one of the best Marvel.
Typical expectations is about 62 to 65%.
Yeah, so for a Marvel movie, it's actually one of the better. Week-to-week drops. It's definitely going to make $1 billion, thank God, because of the deal that Sony had with Marvel, the rumor deal, which was that this movie had to make $1 billion for them to continue their relationship.
Yep.
That was a rumor. Who knows? I'm always... The internet's a wild place. You always hear a lot of different things. I could definitely see that being something. Sony trying to shoot themselves in the fucking foot. It makes $998 million.
It's one of those things. It's like there's no way it could be true, but because of the nature of what Sony did over the past 10 years, it's like that totally could be.
It
something
totally could be true. Exactly. So you're like, oh, look at there you go again. Sony shooting themselves in the foot. That movie grossed $998 million, and they're like, you know what? We're not going to give you all that extra too. We're just going to cut ties. But at the same time, this other rumor was that he's going to show up in 3 different Marvel movies, plus his own 3 solo movies. So he's already fulfilled his contract with Civil War, Endgame, and Infinity War. And then he's already got 2 Marvel movies under the belt. Granted, Tom Holland has already come out and said that he would play Spider-Man till the end of the days.
To the end of time.
End of time, which I personally love.
They want to do 3 trilogies. I saw high school, college, and adult life.
Well,
9 solos.
Given that, I don't think
not counting all the
I'm
other
not gonna
Avengers.
lie.
I'd watch every single one twice.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think we're gonna get a 3rd high school one.
No,
how
totally
do you go?
are.
How do you go back to school after that?
He's not going to be in school, but he's still in high school age.
He's still in high school. I'm gonna be like,
I mean, this is between his sophomore and junior year.
He has to clear. Yeah, he's got to clear his name to go to college.
all right, we'll see what
Well, I
happens.
mean, he'll still be a 17, 18-year-old, whatever he has to do to take classes and everything else.
He's gonna get homeschooled by Aunt May.
Oh, sign me up.
Depending on
Class
where they
of
live.
2, please.
So possible. Maybe he'll go to the Future Foundation. That's where he'll attend school.
Yeah.
That could be a backdoor Fantastic Four reference.
He transfers to Wakanda. There's a school there.
Yeah, he could go to Wakanda. I mean, given how they're going to try to introduce
He could move.
the rumor right
He
now.
could move into the Sanctum Sanctorum.
The rumor right now with Craven being a
Professor Doctor Strange.
no, but the rumor with Craven being a Wakandan from one of the tribes of Wakanda who was exiled.
As this was mentioned, and then it went in my head. I can't remember if I'd sent this to the chat in between, but it makes perfect sense with the possibility that the tribe was exiled and that they focused on hunters, and all the other tribes in Wakanda have totems that are animals. So it's, of course, we don't want you killing
So they
our
go
panther, our
hunt.
rhinos, and so that's why they would kick them out, and then that does fit as a really good possibility.
It would be awesome.
And I'd heard that Coogler had wanted Craven in the first movie for a similar situation because, again, poaching, you get into all sorts of
all
different
kinds
things.
of shit there.
Totally changes our fan casting now.
It does.
Black Raven. Who could do it?
Well, again, they've been
Terry
exiles.
Crews.
Actually, isn't he going to be King Trident in the Little Mermaid movie?
He better.
He's
better.
actively
He wants it.
he's actively campaigning. He even's been releasing videos of him singing.
Who else? Who else?
Oh, he'd be great at it.
Yeah.
And he can sing, too. We know this.
What I was going to talk about for Craven, if he hadn't already played 80 different comic book characters, what is it, Digimon Hasu, whatever his name is?
Jaimin Hansu.
Yeah, he could easily be Craven.
God, he would be good.
He would
He'd be a
really
great
good.
Craven.
Him, can you imagine him yelling at Spider-Man?
What's his face from Luke Cage season 2? The guy who plays Bushmaster.
Bushmaster?
He'd be good. He'd be
He's
excellent.
big, too.
He'd be excellent. Here's the thing: is they already showed with what's her face from
Well, actually,
season
that
1
could be-
playing two different characters within the Marvel universe. They could very well do it, or he could be his cousin.
Are you
or
talking about her cameo in Civil War?
Yes.
Yeah.
They could easily. He could still do it.
She's not the only one. Peter Quill's mother was also one of Captain America's fans in the first Avenger.
Yeah. So I mean,
so they've had a few.
Who was?
The Peter Quill's mom was one of Captain America. So one of the things like, well, maybe Captain America is his grandfather. That could be good. And Bushmaster could be a tie because he could be a character from that tribe as well, setting up as a tie-in for that. And that's one of the characters that's a villain for Moon Knight as
Jamaican.
well. Well, in that, but again, we don't know where the tribe was exiled to and where they've gone and where they've spread
He
out.
could have every exiled with to Jamaica.
Yeah.
You know, it's very explainable.
They
makes sense.
They could
historically.
within the hundreds of years that they've been outside of Wakanda, they could have gone to many other places.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Actually, I'm actually pretty excited for that. I would finally like to see a Craven's Last Hunt storyline.
But here's but you can't. But the thing is, you can't. This is, and I think we talked about this. The problem with that is when you hear Craven, it's like, oh, we got to have Craven's Last Hunt. But Craven's Last Hunt doesn't work when you first see him.
Yeah, you're right.
And if you don't do that at the beginning, the fanboy nerds, which are the worst part of the internet, will be like, why didn't you do this? It's like, because haven't you seen how Dark Phoenix has failed over and over again? We have to set the story up of Craven's constant failures and how desperate he is to finally succeed and how far he is willing to go.
Yeah. But what it kind of sucks because you know what,
and also again Black Panther 2, the possible villains. Coogler has wanted Craven, and the other one was Namor, and so there's a back and forth whether Namor will be possibly the villain in Black Panther 2 or Doctor Strange 2.
And Namor could easily set up the whole. They already talked about the earthquake in the ocean. They could also establish that he's the first mutant.
Well, one of the other things that leads to this is where Eternals might help with Namor. Is the Eternals were part of a experiment by the Celestials when they came to Earth. This is the comic books, and probably similar to what they showed in Guardians of the Galaxy with Ashram the Judge. I think that's which one was there because he was blowing everything up. Is that the Celestials came to Earth, they experimented on humanity. There were the Eternals and the Deviants. And for a while, the Deviants took control of the planet and were running everything. And then the Celestials came back and it's like, fuck you guys. And they blew up the Deviants continent, which was Lemuria, which is in the South Pacific. And that also caused Atlantis to sink, which could be, again, the Eternals movie could set up some things that lead to showing Atlantis and Namor and everything on that end, on how long they've been around in the previous history of everything that's been. Because again, in Iron Man 2, we see the bubble for Wakanda, like the events that Fury's dealing with, and one of them was in Africa for where Wakanda is, and one of them was in the ocean in Atlanta, which could be where Atlantis is. And then the earthquake tremor that we heard in the ocean in Endgame could also be a continuation of the breadcrumbs leading up to this.
Yeah.
Which are the same type of subtlety as Homecoming, with Stark Towers being sold, Avengers Towers being sold, and the end of Endgame where they're doing construction on it, and then in Far From Home where they're finished doing that building. 3 different movies. We know that something's going on with it, but we don't know anything specific.
But also, if we haven't noticed that Marvel
and the reference that you're asking about, when they land, when MJ and Spider-Man land in front of the Grand Central Terminal, in the background the construction signs are pointing arrows 1, 2, 3 with another arrow with questions marks. What's next? So that's what the information is behind that.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, it's already been established that Kevin Feige loves to plant things years ago. And be like, and then bring them back as a key plot point, such as Barf and a few other things. So you're just like, okay, I'm there for it, man. It's okay. You've been establishing the fact that Stark Tower got sold how many movies ago now?
And that was what, 2016?
Yeah. How many movies have happened since then? And then now
2017. It was 2017.
Yeah. So, but they also showed that after the end of Civil War. They had already, they were already talking about it, and also Age of Ultron, they had already established that they had built that new center. So it's already being the sale of that building probably could have been happening all the way back to
end of Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, because they established that center upstate New York, which is the one that ends up getting destroyed and then came. So you're like, huh? They know exactly what they're doing. So it's definitely going to be. Probably Oscorp. We still don't know yet. I'm kind of hoping for Baxter Building, but it's more than likely going to be the Oscorp Building. But
there'll be a lot of information released in over the weekend in San Diego Comic-Con, and a lot of it Saturday afternoon, early evening with the Marvel panel.
Well, the thing is, they kind of you would think they would announce a third Spider-Man by now after how well one's doing.
That'll probably be a part of that.
It's got to be a part of it.
Because that's the other thing. Is not only are these movies going to be announced, the release dates will be filled in probably for the next couple of years as well.
But we're not going to get titles for the movies. We're not going.
No, I think we will.
You think we're going to get Spider-Man 3, whatever?
Oh, no, well, we won't get the title, like the subtitles.
That's what I'm talking about, the subtitle.
No, I don't know about that. But because it was the interesting thing is their release schedule is as much as in retrospect has been so firm and consistent. The actual movies that they're releasing at different times has always been floating, because I think last week is when Inhumans was supposed to finally have been released.
2020 was Inhumans. 2020 is going to be the final year of the Phase 3 originally, and Inhumans was going to be the last movie of that. So
should have stuck to their guns, made the movie.
I agree.
It was part of the separation from Marvel Studios and Marvel Television. It's like, okay, Ike Perlmutter, you want the fucking Inhumans? Go make your garbage ass television show. We're going to make billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. And also, remember at the time.
And again, Lockjaw was fantastic in it. That was a great effect for a television show.
$5.5 billion in the calendar year. Infinity War, Endgame, and Captain Marvel. Oh, Ant-Man and the Wasp was in there too. So over $6 billion.
Yeah, but
in like a year and 3 months.
And I love how you don't include Spider-Man there, because it's actually a Sony.
Oh
movie.
shit.
It doesn't count. Sony gets all the grosses.
Well, if you go in a
Marvel
year and 3 months,
to use Spider-Man whenever they want.
Marvel. The deal is that Marvel basically gets all merchandising, Spider-Man merchandising, which long term
they'll take it.
No, yeah, long term that makes more money than any fucking box office, so it doesn't matter. And then Sony gets to keep all the.
I don't
box
know,
office.
man. Not if you make 9 movies.
No. Trust me, book bags and lunch boxes and toys for eternity.
Talk to George Lucas about money.
Yeah. Talk to George Lucas about taking merchandising rights. Trust me, that's what made him a billionaire. So it's not the box office that made him.
But the thing is, even if you go to the beginning of 2018, you're talking $1 billion with Black Panther, $1 billion with Captain Marvel, almost $5 billion between the two Avengers movies.
4.5, yeah.
And then
4.8 now, almost 4.8.
And then with the Ant-Man and the Wasp, that gets you the 5.5.
Like another 6,
so you're like
right?
7.5, like $7.5 billion.
It's paid for. That deal paid for itself.
That
all
that paid for the cost of the 23 movies.
And also more than surpassed the cost they paid for Marvel Studios or Marvel anyways. So.
Marvel is $4 billion.
Yeah, that was a steal.
That was
a steal when I heard about that deal. Like, they got it for how much?
One of my friends was concerned about this, and it's like, what does Disney do? They have the market cornered on girls' movie animation, toys, and everything. They are going to want to do the same thing with boys. That's why they bought this. They are going to spend the money to make sure people are involved.
Disney owned properties, in which they own Spider-Man. Technically, they don't own the movie rights, but they own Spider-Man. Disney properties are going to take, I think, 6 of the top 10 top grossing movies of the year this year.
I think currently they have
the
top 5 at the moment. It's the top 5,
top 7, but no studio ever has had 3 top. No studio's ever had the number 1, number 2, number 3 movie in the box office during a summer run. And with Lion King coming out this week,
and we still have
Book It. I still think that might end up being the number 1 movie this summer.
And for the year, we still have Frozen 2
and Star Wars.
And there's another one that I think that we're missing, because is Maleficent in the fall?
Maleficent is in the fall, but I don't think that's going to do well.
It'll be in the top 10 conversation.
Angelina Jolie might help that movie, but
that movie made a ton of money the first time through.
But so did the first Alice movie. Alice in Wonderland made $1 billion.
The problem with the two Alice
Looking
movies,
Glass,
but that were 5 years apart. That was the other thing.
When's the last Melissa movie come? That came out like what?
But Angelina Jolie looks the same. Mia Wasikowska looked different.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. But Through the Looking Glass was a huge bomb. Dumbo didn't do well, but I had no desire to see Dumbo.
Oh, I think it's the nature of the movie, because it's like it's a down movie. Everybody knows it's a down movie. It's it's Tim Burton, and it could be fun, but it's like it's going to be down.
When's the last time Tim Burton made a fun movie?
Big Fish, and that's not necessarily an up movie.
No, actually, no, never mind. I take that back. The House for Peculiar Children, or what the fuck that movie was, Miss Peregrine. Or
Miss Peregrine's House for Peculiar Children.
Yeah, whatever. That was actually a good movie. I like that one. That was the last movie he's
Eva
directed.
Green.
That was the last movie he's made that I actually enjoyed. Aside from, I think,
who is Morticia?
Sweeney Todd,
who's the mortician who is Morticia in the animated Addams Family movie with Oscar Isaac playing.
And I just read another rumor, and this one's horrifying. They're talking about making a live action Night Before Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas. Live action Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm not quite sure if they do that. I guess it's gonna be. I'm assuming it would be the Lion King treatment, where they basically make it the
exact same thing,
but not, because that's what everyone's bitching about, is the fact that this Lion King movie is basically a.
That's what the critics are complaining.
I like how they call Lion King a live action movie with no live action.
Yeah. It's not live action.
But the thing is, it's effectively an animated movie, but they don't want to say it's an animated movie either.
100% an animated movie.
It could very well get nominated for Best Animated Movie.
It's
not going to.
It won't, because of the way. And if it does get nominated, it'll get absolutely no votes from the people that are in there. But it's like, at least Jungle Book was shot on plates of live scenes, and then they animated the animals onto it. This is all of this is fake, which is amazing.
And also,
have you ever seen the video of them actually shooting it?
It was a child.
Yeah, it's literally just it's Jon Favreau ordering around a little boy in a loincloth in a blue warehouse. It's fucking creepy to look at.
Hey, that kid did great.
Yeah,
he actually did a very good job.
You just see Jon Favreau like on the ground, and this little kid in the loincloth just like, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, is that's the second time that Disney did a live action Jungle Book, because they did the.
They did that one movie.
Jason Scott Lee as Mogwai and the Jungle Book, and it came out right before was cast. That's what got him cast as Bruce Lee in the Dragon, the Bruce Lee story movie.
And he did a fantastic job.
He was great in that. That movie was on over the weekend, and I saw that, and that movie still holds up.
They need to do a.
Lauren Holly never looked better.
Agreed. They need to make another. They should make a remake of Enter the Dragon. How they haven't done that yet, I don't know.
Well, especially with the guy, because I think the guy playing Bruce Lee in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was being cast in, or thought to be cast in, a Bruce Lee biography, and I think he was one of the people being looked at to play a character in the Shang-Chi movie as well.
Oh, we just got a casting for Shang-Chi, didn't we?
Nothing official, just that the very likelihood that Donnie Yen is going to be involved, and the Power Ranger guy is going to be in it in some way.
Oh, he just came out and said that they're actually already rebooting Power Rangers.
Yeah, they're doing another thing about it. But I mean, isn't there like 15 different itinerations of Power Rangers?
Yeah, there are, but the movie that just came out, 2 years ago, is already getting. They're not getting a sequel. They're actually rebooting it. I actually liked that movie.
I heard that it did really well.
It was fine. It was good. It wasn't terrible. which is, as far as I'm concerned these days,
That's a plus.
it's a plus. It wasn't awful.
It's funny though that people talk about how many, and critics for the most part, and some fans, about how there's too many sequels, reboots, remakes, and everything else going on. It's like, why can't we get original stuff? And it's like, if the copyrights and trademarks weren't extended to like 125 years from the date that they first appeared, and all of these things were public domain, like I think they're announcing Millie Bobby Brown is playing the Sherlock Holmes' younger sister, and I think Henry Cavill is playing Sherlock Holmes in that. And so they're doing a Sherlock Holmes movie, which is why Elementary is finishing up with Johnny Lee Miller, while the Benedict Cumberbatch movie is BBC series is still in existence, and while the Robert Downey Jr. is getting ready to make a third movie with that. And they're like, oh, there's too many of these. And it's like, that's what happens when things are in public domain. Mm-hmm. So you're like, oh, it's like if we get rid of the copyright, and then it'll be right. No, there'll be 1,000 people making Captain America movies.
Are you leaving out Will Ferrell's?
Yes.
That came out this year, and everyone forgot already.
I'm omitting it intentionally because
it was apparently his worst movie.
It was even worse than worse. And then Rebecca Hall is in this, and there's like legitimate actors and actresses in this, and it's like, what?
All right, guys, but I think it's actually nice. We're gonna go ahead and cut things here. It's a nice. I think
we should get a lot of stuff to talk about with San Diego Comic-Con this week.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of stuff to talk about, and I don't know. I think there's a good amount of time. We did an hour 15, which is, I think we've been going a little too long recently. So I actually want to try and cut time on these. So any last words, guys?
No. Bukaki Josh. See you after Comic-Con.
Watch Euphoria, guys. By the way, I want to say that. Yeah. Watch Euphoria.
Renewed for season 2.
Renewed for season 2, and we'll talk about the last 2 episodes once Josh catches up next week.
Yeah, this upcoming episode is
talk about 4.
This upcoming episode will be about McKay, which looks like it'll be a lot of fun.
You can talk about episode 4.
So I saw the Carnival.
The Carnival. Do you want to talk about that episode right quick? Because that was a really good.
That was a terrifically good episode.
That was a really good episode.
There is, and I don't even remember the song, and I don't think that it matters. But there is not a more progressively compelling, tension-filled scene with as many cuts and character stories going. It reminds me very much of Boogie Nights with Sister Christian in the room with the drug dealer as the side guy is throwing those fireworks.
The fireworks.
And that's just one scene with just a cut back and forth. And this had all the other characters just heading toward impending doom of some sort or another.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also, you haven't really had a more tense scene than when Jules goes to confront the father, grabbing the cup of chili, and it just keep cutting back to Rue looking, and you're like, holy shit. And then the music that they use, and the
father looking up and then looking down, and Cal looking down, and then the father, the chili.
And then the son sees her. It's him.
But the thing with the father is you kind of get this idea he's some sick, terrible human being. Which, I mean, he's got his issues and his kinks,
especially with the way he raises his children.
Yeah, but at the same time, you just kind of realize he's maybe not that bad of a dude. I don't know if they're setting us up.
I don't know that it's not that bad of a dude, but
he's not like the serial killer you thought.
No, he's not.
You do feel a little sympathy to the fact that where he is in his life is specifically because of when he was raised and where he was raised.
And no, you get the idea that those ideas drove him to become what he is, and knowing inside what he was and hiding from it made him become the type of father,
the uber masculine
father that he is now. And then in the 5th episode, they kind of establish how much he actually really. Well, no, I know. It's just I'm going to say I'm not going to ruin anything.
But you always say that,
I'm just
and then you immediately trip over the thing and ruin it.
There's a scene where he just establishes. You know what? He knows. He's aware of himself. He's fully aware, and what it's done to himself and his family. I'm just saying. So, but with that 4th episode at the carnival, everything going on, being shot. The scenes of them trying to find each other with the fireworks in the background, and they're just little balls, and you're just kind of expecting fireworks. You're just, oh my god, something's going to happen, and then it's like, well, nothing really happened.
I think I tell you, it was not since the mezzo-soprano parking her car in the last episodes of Sopranos have I been more in fear about what is going to happen next. And that scene ends without anything really happening, except with Rue getting her sister out of potentially growing issue, but that could have gone much worse than it did. And then they give, and like the Undiluvian Dog by Salvador Dali, when you're like, oh, they're not going to show the eye getting cut with a knife. Boom, they go to the next scene, which is the most frightening scene I've ever seen in a television show in probably about 3 or 4 years, where Jules confronts Tucker or Tyler.
But how about the lead up to that of her just?
Oh my God!
Her riding a bike through a fucking orchard, I guess it was, with just a light behind her, and it was just showing. Which is
clearly just the camera light, but it shows you it's like how dark and alone and where she is and the choices that she has to make and everything.
And you're just like, she's doing what to go meet a stranger? Okay, she's even though she's easily. I mean, she's got her issues, but overall, she's a good human being.
It's showing the dangers of what her life is and the choices that she has to make to find whatever.
I like how when she's explaining it, she's like, every guy starts with the same thing. I'm not really gay.
Which it's like, I'm 100% not gay.
I'm 100% not gay.
Oh, by the way, are you a bottom?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Do you don't? No, he goes, do you top it all?
Yeah, do you top? She goes,
not really my thing.
Not my good thing. Because that's not what
my
thing.
That's not what I want. He's like, you obviously know if she had given a different answer, he's like, please
plow me, Jules. I'm not gay though.
I'm not gay though, Jules. But please
like,
plow me, Jules.
He goes, I'm not gay. We did totally met on a gay dating app, but okay.
There's a scene where Rue is asking Jules about how she's met people, and there's like a quick montage of different dates that she's had, and it's that same conversation with all of them over time. And the look that Jules gives is one of the best thing ever. It's like, we met on a gay dating app.
She was fucking weirdo. No, but how about the kid they got to play Jules? That kid was fantastic. Did a great job.
She was a model before, but
No, I'm talking about young Jules.
Oh, yes.
The kid where they're explaining her.
Oh, yes.
Because every episode starts with an explanation of why these characters are the way they are.
A backstory.
Or a backstory about it, which I love. And they show Jules being the mother, taking young Jules to a psych ward.
Yes.
7 hours outside of wherever they're living. And she has no idea what's happening. And then...
Surprise.
There's that one dude... there with a big fat dude. He's like, I'm gonna fuck you, you whore. He just starts cranking it, and you're like, huh, does this really seem like a healthier place for that child to be? But whatever.
And Jules realized what is happening and what has happened,
and the heartbreaking moment when she realizes, and then
that her mom has abandoned her.
Yeah, and then the scene where she cuts herself with a can. And she called out the order like, I may have done something. You're like, oh my God, this is heartbreaking shit.
Don't be mad at me. Yeah.
Don't be mad at me.
And then there's a payoff scene because you see that her father's supportive, but you don't really know how supportive he is. But there's a tremendous scene with the two of them in the 5th episode to where you're like, oh no, he's a really good dad.
He's a great dad, yeah.
But it's a terrific motif for explain, because that way the show was allowed to. It's starting at the moment that Rue gets out of rehab and everything dealing with her in high school, and it just goes forward. And you're like, well, I want to know about these characters. And they're like, okay, we'll give you that 5 to 7 minutes. This is at the beginning of each story. This is where this character came from. This is where this character came from. And next week is McKay, which is just the preview of showing up with that was fantastic. Just like the first 60 seconds of him working his way to a scholarship in college is like, oh, this one's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm kind of... Even though he's not really a character I'm that interested in at the moment.
Except for the fact that he's dating Cassie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure being the...
Well, he is the most removed because he is in college everybody else is still in high school.
But given what they're aiming to show, what's going on with him in the next episode where was the star athlete...
There is no... I've said before, David Fincher does... showing investigative thinking better than anybody else because it's impossible to show, but he finds a way to do it. Euphoria shows individual people. It's able to show every character seeing the world through their own eyes, how they believe everybody is always in their business, which as you grow older, you still feel those things, but you realize nobody's fucking paying attention to you. Everybody is so worried about their own stuff that you literally bump into, oh, I didn't see you. Yeah, how are you doing? And then immediately like, oh, they're probably thinking I'm an idiot because I bumped into him. What the fuck? I'm so stupid. And it's like, no, that's not what's going on whatsoever, because nobody's actually thinking of the other person, not because they're rude about it. It's because they're so caught up in trying to their own struggles. And Euphoria does such a great job, especially in that carnival scene, to where you feel the things that each individual character and how they're seeing things, especially the scene with Kat and her somewhat kind of possibly could have been a boyfriend, and she just sees him talking to a prettier girl, a skinnier girl, and she assumes everything that has nothing to do. This is 4. This is a carnival.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's with that dude that she's sitting next to.
Who's asking him to deliver a message to his sister because she's friends with his sister.
She can't make it to work or something like that.
She can't go. It's like, can you tell your sister about that? Sure.
She was really hot though, but yeah.
But he was. You could tell though when they flipped it to his conversation, he didn't care about her at all. He was
he's just like, yeah.
Are you done? I'll tell her. Go away.
And she's also kind of flirting. He's ignoring her the entire day.
But he's not interested in her.
He's like, oh, you're the best.
But then you see Kat just looking at that, and it's like, oh, that's the attractive, skinny blonde. You're clearly not interested in me. And then she blew him off to do whatever. And it's like
she went to go pork a carny.
A former high school, not even a high school classmate, because he was probably out of school like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, she went and porked a carny. That's great. Kat gives no fucks. You said that in the chat. Kat just doesn't fucking care anymore.
She's figured it out for herself.
That girl went from losing her virginity to just the other end of the spectrum in a matter of like a month.
Was that even that?
Not even seen episode 5.
Oh, stop it!
It's not even that. It's not even that she doesn't care. It's just she realizes like, you know what?
This is the character.
None of this matters.
That's the thing. It's like she does care, but she cares about. It's like, I'm going to enjoy myself.
It's the character I least want to watch be sexually awakened.
But the way
she's actually fairly attractive. When they did the interview at the end of her episode, she's actually a model.
It's the
in
way
real life.
It's the way though
plus size, but
that she
plus size models should not be a thing.
What? All right, anyway,
no, fuck that. Let me ask you a question.
We're not gonna get political.
Wait, it's not political. To be a model, you at least have to work hard to be in shape, and you have to take care of your body. What do plus size models do? What? Take care of their skin and show up? It's fucking stupid.
I will say the fashion industry designs its model clothes as size 2. And the size 2 has gotten smaller over the last 40 years.
Yeah, actually, no. I think clothing has gotten bigger.
Well, no, but I mean, the sizing has. Clothing has, but they want to make you feel guiltier. It's like a size, was it Marilyn Monroe was a size 12 or something, but like today's not, is like a 16.
Do we have male plus size models?
No.
Why is that? Because women are sensitive?
Well,
so we had to give them something?
Well, no.
That's why plus size models exist.
Hopper, he's out here modeling and being his best life.
He's not modeling. He's an actor who's famous. That's different.
But he was some glamour shots basically.
No, I get the same thing with George and Seinfeld with on the couch and the whatever. is that? But it's like when you're famous first and then you're asked to run a runway, it's not because you're modeling.
Well, hold on. I will say
I'll give into the idea of plus size models when we get some male ones. Until then, it's just because women are sensitive and bitch a lot.
I kind of agree with him on that. As a man of size, I completely agree with you.
Mainly because I'm tired of working. I want to eat pizza and get paid too.
There is somewhat of a double standard when it comes to plus size men and women.
Yeah,
trust me.
There's got to be a market for buff bears out there.
I've gone in so
yes, but not straight.
He has a point too.
They're valid.
I'm not gonna lie to you though. I've as a guy who's
a market.
As a guy that
chicks are into this body type.
As a guy who's been battling his weight since literally I was like fucking 8.
You're just like month to month with it, Superman. This month I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm like, oh wow, I've given 3 months. I've dropped 80 pounds. I look amazing. Fuck it, it's summertime. I'm gonna start drinking again. Boom.
Fitness challenge in a month.
Yeah, we're doing it.
60 days.
60 days. But the thing is,
James leaves in 10 days.
But here's the deal: I get in so much trouble for opening up my mouth about people having weight problems nowadays, and I personally, if
you're allowed to talk about it. It's like a black person saying the N-word.
Exactly. Well, we're not gonna.
It's allowed.
Fat people can talk about fat.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But
I got a dad bod. I can talk about it.
That's what I mean.
I'm chiseled from here up. That's it.
This is completely off topic on pop, and we are talking
pop
about
is more general talk than sports. Yeah.
For
plus size models is pop culture.
But now for me, like I feel like
pop belts.
Trying to normalize a health issue is a huge concern.
It's terrible.
For me. It's terrible. I hate it.
We need to stop catering to everybody. I'm sorry. Being fat is unhealthy, guys.
It's not okay.
No.
Well, there's different layers. It's like overweight is one thing, but the obesity, morbidly obesity.
Okay,
and
well,
then
you can be a little overweight and be healthy.
But the thing is, here's the categories. It's obese. It's morbidly obese, which means you're gonna
imminent
die.
Death. Yeah.
But the thing is, then we're so fat. There's a category beyond that.
What?
Super obese.
No, holy shit.
Yes,
that's a thing.
There is, because it's like obese is what 20%, like 25%.
Yeah.
They shouldn't call them super. That's too positive.
Morbidly obese is like in that
32
to 35, like to about 40 range. But for the people that are 40% body mass, like beyond that, that's the super. We've as a people, particularly in the United States,
those are the people in
gotten
Walmart with the carts.
So fat.
No, we're
that
devolving.
They had to create a bigger category.
No, but I think we're devolving.
Again, you need to be very specific. People in the United States. This is not a health issue.
North America. I mean,
Canadians aren't.
No, Canadians not so much. Mexico is actually the fatter nation than America right now.
And that has.
But I think it has a lot to do with our
tacos are serious, bro.
Well, no, tacos aren't fattening. I mean, if you go to any
my body says otherwise.
No, real tacos aren't that fattening. It's our working relationship thanks to NAFTA is the reason why Mexico is getting so fat. Because if you go further south of Mexico, guess what? Everyone's eating carbs, good carbs, and no one's fat.
Well, it's
corn
tortillas. It's a better
corn tortillas, true, but also everyone's eating black beans and rice and pinto beans.
There's rice is
a lot of starchy foods. You go down to Costa Rica, where
rice is like the best of the carbs, though. Like if you're working out and being exercising.
This is true, but I'm just saying, like. Everyone's their diet's basically 80% carbs with a little bit of meat, and everyone walks everywhere. No one drives anywhere. Everyone's physically more active.
A lot of shit too is the shit that we put on the actual food.
Yes. No, it's actually how it's made.
The Mexicans. I've been to Mexico like 2 times. You go down to get a taco in Mexico, tortilla, meat, cilantro. Done.
And some lime.
Done. Yeah, done. That's it. And you know what? It's fucking incredible.
And nothing. Well, no.
It's better than any. Every time I go back from Mexico, I can't have tacos.
Josh,
I'm going
to change your life.
Don't make me fatter.
No. If you want those kind of tacos.
After having a Kobe steak, I didn't have beef for 6 months.
Yeah, right. It's not the same, dude.
As a Latino, I know some good places to go to get authentic shit. You need to go to a place off South Boulevard. It's off by. It's right next to. It's right across the street from 2nd and Charles.
What's it called?
It's called Lupita's.
Lupita's, I've heard of that.
Lupita's. It is a tortilleria, which is basically a tortilla factory.
Say that 3 times fast.
Tortilleria. It's a tortilla. It's a corn tortilla factory. You go in there and be like, "Yo, I want a pound of tortillas." 2 pounds of tortillas.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen.
So you go in there, you ask for how many pounds of tortillas you want, and then they already have.
I sip my gallon of lemonade.
They have pre-cooked pork, carnitas, beef, and chicken. So you say, I want a pound of cooked pork. I want a pound of 2 pounds
of flesh, please.
No, you want 3 pounds, 4 pounds, and then you say however many pounds of chicken, pork, or beef you want shredded. The chicken pieces are whole thighs, but you just
rip it
apart, and then you go to the counter at the front. They also will have chicharrones, fresh made every day, which is pork belly, fried pork belly, and they also have fresh queso. They have Oaxaca and fresh queso cheese, and then you go to the front. And at the front, they have.
I've been to Mexico twice. I haven't seen queso.
No,
they don't do it.
They do have a lot down there, but it's just different regions.
Yeah.
But anyways, and then you go to the front desk where you pay for everything. So you have your pound of tortillas, which equates to about close to 12 to 15 tortillas. You have your pound of meat. For the chicken, it's like $7. For a pound of pork, it's like $8, and a pound of beef is like $9. So you leave with $15 worth of food, but enough to feed a family of 7.
Or me.
Or you.
15 tacos.
And then you go to the front.
2 meals.
And you go to the front. They have.
That's a day. That's cheap. $15 for a day's worth of food.
They have
5 breakfast, lunch, dinner.
They have bags of cilantro and diced onion that you can buy, salsas that you can buy right at the front counter. They have pico de gallos. They have pickled red onion and habanero.
It's not a restaurant. It's just a little
shop.
Not
a restaurant. It's a little
taco shop.
So no, it's not even a taco shop. It's a grocery store. You walk in. I'm like, hey, I want my pound of tortillas. I want my meat.
How far down South Boulevard?
It's off of 2nd and Charles, which is
by
Tyvola.
Tyvola in South.
I know Tyvola well.
Just Google
Club.
Yes, you make a right.
If you're going down South Boulevard, there's the Wendy's. That intersection, it's right after that.
You make a right. You make a right on South Boulevard off Tyvola, off of 77, heading that way, and then it's literally right in front of 2nd and Charles. Lupita's, and there's also a place called Pollo Royale there. They're delicious as well. And then there's also a block down. There's a place called Burrito Factory.
I've been there. I love that place.
They make my favorite.
Is that the one? Is that former KFC building still standing down there?
It is.
Okay, this is the fun thing about the history of that building. So it was a KFC, and then for a while it was a strip club, which is just ridiculously odd because it still looks like a KFC, but then it was a strip club, and then it became a pawn shop, and I have no idea what it is now. But it's like the grease layer that the KFC just left in there.
Well, actually interesting. You just now that you actually said that, the dude that made the documentary about McDonald's,
Super Size Me. He's
Super
doing a
Size
sequel.
Me. He's doing a sequel
Chicken
about
industry.
the chicken industry. He's trying to start a fried chicken industry.
The headline of the one article, though, I said is like he's trying to do a more truthful version of that, which means to me what you're telling me is that no, it's still lying, because Morgan Spurlock in
Morgan
Super
Spurlock.
Size Me, he ate McDonald's for 30 days, but he ate the worst version of the worst possible things that you could eat for every single meal over and over and gained 30 pounds. And so it's like, oh, well, this stuff will kill you. It's like, yes, if you eat like that. But then there's other people who went and just got like the regular portions and still got the Big Mac and the whatever and everything, but didn't get like the 12 milkshakes.
I don't think they
did. And they were stayed about the same, maybe 1 pound heavier, 1 pound lighter. And then another person went and did like all of the diet options, the salads and the wrap versions.
Some
and
of the
everything, and
salads
lost,
got more calories than the burgers.
And then well, because they had the dressing,
Yeah.
like the 4 gallons of dressing on that. But they went through and they ended up actually losing 6 pounds. So it's like, yes, the food is bad, but what's worse is the fact that most of us can't control our portions.
It's all right. No, that's my problem.
Well, American
Absolutely
portion sizes are insane.
I contend.
You travel anywhere, and you travel literally anywhere outside of here, and probably maybe Canada and Mexico. Portion sizes are pretty normal everywhere else.
Italy's massive.
Italy is very big.
They barrage. It's courses.
But the thing is, it works because again, you're walking most of the places.
They
and
walk
everything.
everywhere. Yeah.
But the thing that I attribute much of this is the growing up, and it's like finish your plate, and then with the sizes, once you see it on the plate, it's like, oh, I have to. Well, I'm full. It doesn't matter.
I see it. I see it to go box as a sign of defeat.
Yes, it's like I have to finish all of.
I
this.
refuse to be defeated.
Anyway, speaking of which, you need to go check out Noble Smoke. Just open up right down the road from
Those
you.
pictures look good.
I didn't see pictures.
Typically on the story,
Oh.
it's a lot of John's telling us this is the best thing ever. It's like recency bias is the first thing that pops into my head.
It's not.
And again, I do give you credit that on food, that's where you're an expert in, and then most of the part I take what you say straight up. But then you said that. And the message to us in the chat was like the best I've ever had. You backed off of that on your stories and said might be some of the best I've ever had. Which okay,
Yeah.
so that immediately it's
I
like
had to
oh
pull
he's
back.
trying to be credible. This is good. But then I saw the pictures. It's like that shit looked amazing.
No, the pork.
It looked the sandwich,
The pulled pork?
Oh my god,
$7 for a pulled pork sandwich too. They're not.
it looked amazing.
$10 for a brisket sandwich. They're not trying to beat you over the head with the pricing.
Not for him. No.
Not him. For Jim Noble and what they
What's
do
that?
normally. Those are the hush puppies.
Okay.
Those look good.
The restaurant itself is gorgeous.
It looked nice. It looked really nice.
It's right there. It's right by.
You are a tool.
I was literally trying. I was actually. That was at the end of the night. I was trying to get my little thing inside. Hey, at the end of the,
Hand pies.
yes, they have hand pie, fresh made hand pies. They're fried.
Looks like a dessert empanada.
Well, no, it's a ham pie. It's basically. Remember, basically, it's like so. Imagine the pies at McDonald's.
You should have walked home.
I know.
All I saw was hush puppies and pies.
It had to back up before that. Before the hush puppies was there.
Before that, he's at the pool being.
Oh no! There was what happened?
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
There,
Here it is.
okay.
His fat hand was in the way, so I skipped it.
Yeah, no, it was right after that.
Holy shit!
Yeah, right.
That bread looks legit.
I mean, that looks great.
I want to go back today.
That
I'm
looks
not gonna
really
lie.
good.
No, John.
I know. Well, man, pulled pork's not that bad.
Well, this is what I'm doing. I'm loading up on my fatness to get. The way I diet is I eat until I get sick of food for like 2 weeks. Like I gorge myself, and then it makes it easy for me to diet for a month or two straight.
At one of my previous jobs, we had a weight loss bet, and it was going to start the day after Labor Day and go to the first Monday that we were back to work in January. So it's like we're going through the eating holiday. So this is a test. You gotta. So we hosted the local breaks for the muscular dystrophy telethon. So everybody brings in food. So that day, it's like I am going to eat every single fucking thing in front of this, and I'm going to list it. So we were there from like 6 a.m. until about 8 p.m.
How long was the list?
Well, I posted it in at the beginning of September. It keeps popping up, and it's like it's so long now that the Facebook thing like kind of curates what they show. They don't even show all the posts now. But I did tally at the end. I had drunk at the end of the day 18 Mountain Dews. I had three.
Wait, how many Mountain Dews?
18
over the course of 14 hours. 18 Mountain Dews.
So you're like, what's her face? Cat, and you're like Cat from fucking
No.
Euphoria getting fat on fucking virgin pina coladas.
And again, if I knew that was a thing, that would have totally done that for me as a kid because that's one of my favorite drinks.
I love it. I had my first virgin pina colada when I was 8 years old.
So I was given the
Red Lobster
the Shirley Temple.
birthday.
It's like, fuck this. I don't want any of this stuff. That tastes terrible. But no, I would have been. So there was like 18 Mountain Dews. I had a ham biscuit from Bojangles, a Bowberry biscuit, a steak biscuit. And this is all by 9 a.m. And then, well, not the Mountain Dews. That was through the course of the day. And then this Sub Station 2 sandwiches, I had one whole entire foot long of that. That was about 11. Pizza shows up. I have 3 slices of pepperoni pizza, 1 meat lover slice. Then Chick-fil-A showed up. This is 2 p.m. Chick-fil-A shows up. I had 2 Chick-fil-A sandwiches and a waffle fries. And then we get to Firebirds was catering the end. So they had the buffalo meatloaf. I had 3 slices of that.
I love their buffalo
and
meatloaf.
I guarantee you I had to have at least 1.5 pounds of mashed potatoes because I just kept going back for that and throwing on gravy. And because, again, let me go ahead and up my starting level and also just get sick and tired of food. And so I probably ate 3.5 to 4 pounds of food that day.
I can't eat like that at all.
I highly doubt that.
I really can't. Unless I go to Let's Meat, I can sit there and eat meat all day, but...
Nobody believes that.
I've been to Chima with you.
Meat.
Food is food.
Food is food, but no, meat is meat.
I will disagree. There are those weird people that have the dessert stomachs. I don't understand that because I will fill on the main course and it's like, that's it. I have no more room.
My favorite thing to do when I get painfully full, like if I leave Chima or Let's Meet, I immediately have to go in my room and get butt naked.
He's not even joking.
No, and then I order a pint of ice cream on Postmates. I think I'm just trying to cool my body down. I don't even think I'm hungry. I get the best.
He's not even joking. I know this for a fact, actually.
I sent John a picture once. It's just like my naked knee at the TV and a pint of ice cream.
Literally, so, no, I've been to Chima
really
with him
think I'm
several
just trying
times
to cool
now.
down for survival.
We've been to Let's Meet several times where we just...
I agree with the cool down thing because you can get overheated eating that much.
Yeah.
But no, anyways, check out Noble Smoke.
I'm a naturally running hot person, too.
Get the buttermilk pie. It's delicious.
Oh, it looked great. The thing looked great.
Yeah.
There's a barbecue restaurant in Anderson, South Carolina, which is approximately 20 miles from Clemson's campus. We would drive there on Friday, eat there at 4 o'clock. And the first few times we went there, and again, we're college kids at the height of our eating skills. Oh, yeah. We could not finish the sandwich, the fries, the coleslaw, everything. It was too much. It was like 2.5 pounds of food. We weren't prepared for it the first time. So the second time that we went, it's like, okay, I got it. I know that I'm not going to be beaten. So, boom, finish it. On the way back, again, 20 miles. We're just like
heavy breathing.
There's like 4 of us in the car. Can't talk. We're only staying awake because we want to make sure the driver stays awake. We get back into the dorm, and I kind of hurried ahead, and it's like, I know. So I opened the door, and then I just laid flat, like half in the door, half out, to like, oh God, he couldn't make it.
Really?
They come around the corner, it's like, oh God, he's dead.
And what did y'all drink?
And then
we ate pork.
We ate, and then take a nap from like 5 to 7. It's like, all right, we're good. Let's go do something.
Let's go eat again. So, anyways, what else? Go check that place out. Soft openings going on right now.
Euphoria is great.
Noble Smoke. Fantastic. For me, probably the best barbecue I've had in Charlotte.
Looked really good.
I'm very biased about barbecue because barbecue is my thing. I actually do it as a hobby at home.
I love Sauceman's pulled pork.
Sauceman, they're award-winning. They actually do good stuff.
And the brisket at Midwood.
Don't you call eating a hobby?
No.
Barbecuing's a hobby of mine. No, it's feeding yourself. It's necessary for survival.
No. Smoking food is not something anyone just does. That's a hobby. Smoking food is a hobby, and trying to make different things better is a hobby. Anyway, so we're going to go and wrap this up. Thank you for listening. Check out Euphoria, and check out Noble Smoke, actually. It'll be opening, they'll have the full menu up on July 25th. Right. So
it's the current, like, you can get in before people are crowded open?
No, right now they're doing, at 4 o'clock, they're opening up the bar opens at 4, restaurant opens at 5, and then they're just open until they sell out.
Okay.
And they were sold out of ribs by 6 o'clock.
I wouldn't doubt that.
The ribs were gone, apparently. So anyways, everyone, you have a great night.